Hey, this is Hans from ProLight Design, and this video has a little information about setting up the ground support system for the LED video wall and other special effects that will be mounted on the truss system. The first component that gets laid out are the bottom boxes. There are 4 of those, and they're going to be set up approximately 24 inches apart. So 24 inches between each of those 4 boxes will get us a good spot to begin with. They have these adjustable feet on the bottom to raise and lower, 2 in the front and another one in the back. And it's important to get things level from the start. Once the boxes are all laid out and not wobbly, the next step will be to place the square tubing screen base onto the ground boxes. There are 4 of these, and they are attached with a tube inside and 2 bolts on each. The black bolt is tightened down, and the black one does not have to be removed. The silver one is the one that we'll remove, and you can see there's a set of black and silver at each intersection. You'll also notice that the heads of the bolts are on the front and the nuts are on the back side. Lifting this up, those bolts continue through from the adjustable feet, and there are holes on the bottom side of this square tube that sit down onto there. So that base square tube just sits on there like that. Nothing actually bolts that down. The weight of the screen is what holds it down. It's very important that we start off with a nice level foundation, and that the square tube is almost perfectly straight, because that's the base that the LED panels will actually sit on. So if we start off with a great foundation and it's square and level, it will make assembly of the panels, all 45 panels, a lot easier. The next segment that will go in, we have this truss section, and you notice these pins are silver, so those will have to be removed and installed in order to install this bottom section. Some of the sections do have these brackets on them, which will attach the panels to the truss, and I usually leave these a little bit loose so you can make adjustments, get the thread started, and make life a little bit easier. There are 6 of these brackets. So this particular truss does not have those brackets on them. So a total of 6. That's all we need. Another important thing to note is that this is looking at the structure from the audience side, as if we were looking at the front of the video screen. This left edge will be the very edge also of the LED panels, which is somewhat in alignment with the top piece. But more importantly, the panels will start on this edge and work their way across. And I bring this up because it's important, because once we get everything set up, we're not moving this thing. It's just too large, too heavy, too brittle. But on the right end, as viewed from the audience, the LED panels will fly off the edge, meaning there won't be a square tube structure under the panels. So the reason I bring all this up again is because when we set this up to make it center stage, just because we're in the center of the structure doesn't mean that's the center of the screen. The screen itself is 15.9 feet across horizontally. So if we measure from that side over 15.9 feet and then find the center, that will give us the true center. All right. Again, trying to keep things simplified, I have painted pins black, and they're the ones that do not have to be removed. So these pins can stay in, and then the silver ones for the next truss section. This is a joint right here between 2 sections. That's probably about stomach or chest height here. The next section going up, again, there will be 3, so not every section will have one of these brackets on it. And again, they're a little bit loose, so you can get things thread started and then tighten them down later. The top pieces are easy to identify because they have these aluminum clamps on the top. So there are a total of 8 of these aluminum clamps up here. So that readily identifies the top truss sections. As we're building up, we have 3 horizontal structure pieces. They're tightened down with wing nuts, and they're going to start to get the structure more rigid for us as we build our way up. And once we get to the top horizontal ladder truss will lay inside these saddle type brackets. All the pieces, they break down into smaller components that are easily manageable. And it's all aluminum, so it's definitely a lot lighter than than the old steel pieces. And the top truss, I've labeled it with some colored tape here. We have a total of 8 lasers, 2 CO2 cannons, a camera, and an LED wash light for backstage. So I've noticed that this is laser 1, laser 2, laser 3. The red and yellow tape is a CO2 gun. This is laser 4. Here we have yellow on the front and the back of the truss, so there'll be a high resolution camera mounted in the front looking at the audience, and then the back side has the LED flood for backstage. And then we continue on laser 5, the next CO2 cannon, and laser 6, 7, and finally 8 on the end there. So starting off with a good level foundation really makes it a lot easier to get the panels to align. The pins, they go in one way. Again, I painted the black, the ones that stay. Silver ones will typically need to be knocked out for transport. The saddle clamps on the top, they stay in the truss. I didn't paint those, or I might paint them. But anyway, those top saddle clamps, they stay on the trusses. And all of the pins and accessories for this are in this small Pelican case. We shouldn't have to use too many of these. Today I kind of have them already pre-assembled, but just for knowledge, these pieces have a little dimple in them right there. You can see this little dimple. And that dimple always faces out, not in. The pins, they always have to go the correct way, and they always have to come in the dimple way. Otherwise, they will not get into the hole correctly. Also, in the Pelican case, we have all the pins needed, and they have a hole in them for the cotter pin to go through. Lots of cotter pins. And a little off topic, but these are the safety cables for the lasers. These will clip onto the back of a laser and wrap around the truss in addition to their clamp on the truss. Part of the CO2 system, there are 2 large CO2 gas bottles, and they will be placed inside this box and inside this box. And I have some nylon webbing. It's basically a dive weight belt that will secure the bottles to the truss. So somewhere above a rung here, we'll put that strap on there to keep those bottles secure so they don't tip over. Anytime the bottles do not have the lid on them, they definitely need to be secured. I'll just show you here in the trailer. These are the CO2 bottles, 2 of them, and here are the straps, and there's a hand cart to transport them. These are very heavy. So definitely want to have them secured to the handcart, and also use the handcart and leave the lids on them at all times when they're being transported. So that's the total build of the video wall structure. If you have any questions or comments, please send me an email at ProLightDesignFlorida@gmail.com. Thank you.